Not
All
live
right.
streaming. Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Not live streaming. Oh, yeah. Hi.
Hello.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the unofficial Minecraft Update podcast. We're on episode 25. I am FoxyNoTail, and I'm joined by my two bestest peeps, Mrs. Lizard and Mr. Slack, and Jessiie.
That wasn't awkward at all.
Yeah, I got that
weird.
completely right. I was reading Jessie's name on the doc, and I said, yeah, I'm good at this.
We're so professional.
Very
we love
professional.
it. We love it.
Expert level 99 professional going on at the moment. It's just incredible how professional I am. I'm surprised people haven't given me awards for it.
Right?
I mean, well, never mind. That's not appropriate. Awards out there or nothing.
Okay, well, speaking of being expert level 99, I bet you two have had the bestest of good weeks. Let me know how it's been. I want to know all of the gruesome details of what you've been up to this week without any gruesome details, please.
Oh, okay. My week has been a very much a roller coaster. We got off the podcast last week.
World?
No, I didn't. No leaving the house at all. I mean, I think I had a doctor's appointment. Anyway, it was a rough week. I don't know what's going on, but the kid being on summer break, he's been very inquisitive, and he's asking questions that mommy doesn't know how to answer to a 6-year-old. And I'm just like, so I have been mentally drained, like just absolutely 24/7. Just why does this happen? And what is this? And well, my auntie says this and uncle says this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't. So yeah, I've been exhausted, and that's been fun. But I've actually got to play the new update, and I'm having so much fun. Like genuinely a good time. I still hate Mangrove Roots and how they grow, but other than that, it's been a blast. But it's led to something that I'm really struggling with, which is trying to balance or trying to find the right way between streaming and recording, because recording is something I enjoy doing. It's something that for me, it gets out creativity. I like to, do collabs with the other members, but there's not much reward there other than just being satisfied that I've done something I like, right?
Yeah.
Whereas live streaming is something I also really love doing, but I get almost nothing done. I just sit and chat and hang out, which is great, but I'm not productive, right? And so it's really hard to balance, because being with the community and having fun and hanging out is great and, wonderful, but they take up the same time slot. Because right now, the easiest time is right now, actually, is when Evie goes down for a nap. I have about 3 hours that I can record, I can edit, I can stream. And it just so happens that this is like when we do the podcast, so can't stream or record. This is when we have meetings half the time in TB, which means no streaming or recording. So I feel very like trapped in this bubble. And it's just a little bit of a struggle right now. I'm just trying to work out what is the right thing to do versus, what I want to do, So that's kind of where I am this week.
I can understand that. I can get behind those feelings of being trapped, like with all of these other responsibilities you've got to do and not being able to do the things you do want to do. Mm-hmm. I have that constantly, but I think that's just part of being a life and adult, isn't it? Unfortunately.
True. Very true.
Yeah, there's not enough hours in a day, that's for sure.
Yeah. What about you, Slack? How's your week been?
You know that 1 week a year where all the British people can complain that it's really hot?
That's this week.
Well, it's officially started over here. This week, pretty much every day, it's been over 100 degrees. Like today, it's 110 outside with the heat index, and in Foxy weather, that's 43.
Oh, it's cold. You put your coat on.
It's toasty. So going outside is like, even if they let the dogs out to do their business, they're out there for like 2.5 minutes, and they're just turning around and looking at me like, Dad. It's very hot out here. We have to be out here. Yeah, please. Yeah.
Jeez, 43. That's crazy. I mean, that's temperatures 10 degrees higher than it ever gets in the UK. I mean, it's more like 20 degrees higher than it ever gets in the UK, to be honest with you. I don't think generally most summers we're lucky if we hit 25, 26 on a hot day. I can't remember it ever going up to 30. So, yeah.
And this is June. This is June.
Oh, yeah. This is just the beginning.
This is just the beginning of the heat wave. So, yeah, that's been fun avoiding that. And also this week, it's getting back into editing.
Editing? Why? What's happened? What have you fallen out of Watchful?
No. I'm just... I feel like if something were to ever happen, that I would be just blindsided and not be able to edit again, because I haven't edited anything in so long. And so I've started doing little projects where I'm editing, and I'm still in the consensus of what I was about a year ago. I don't like it anymore, but I think I don't like how I was editing. I don't like the classic, this is what everybody does, this is what you should do. So I've been experimenting with adding in different stuff, and maybe it'll last, maybe it won't last. It's adding in different panoramic swoops and overlays and stuff like that to experiment with it. Will I put out one video? I don't know. Will I put out any? I don't know, but I've been having fun with it. I've been having so much fun with it that I've actually took and redone my second Stream Deck into an editing Stream Deck.
Oh, wow.
So like I've got cut buttons and transform buttons and slide buttons and play buttons and all this all set up on quick action buttons. Because I feel like one of the biggest things with editing is wasting all the time editing. Like, I don't mean that in a bad way, but like, you recorded 2 hours worth of content. You need to cut all this out. Okay, that you don't want. And the first thing you got to do is trim all the dead space, which usually takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
Usually takes a lot of time. And it's just, I don't know. I'm having fun with it, though. I'm having fun with it. It's nice to do something that I haven't done in a long time, but at the same time, I'm not feeling any love for it at this minute.
Yeah, fair enough. Anything else?
No, that covers my week, aside from lawyer calls and more money going into that and immigration and everything. We're all good there. How's your week been?
Yeah, good. I just want to touch on that editing again. In talking about using another Stream Deck for your editing buttons, it's kind of like, and don't take this the wrong way, but for me, that would drive me nuts, because that's kind of like, when you've never used a computer before and you don't know how to type and you kind of one finger pressing everything and it takes you ages. Now, obviously using a Stream Deck for you is a faster way of doing things, but I memorized the keyboard shortcuts, so now it's muscle memory. So for DaVinci Resolve, for instance, you've got Control A is to go back to your mouse pointer and Control B is to go back to the cut tool. And that's all I do. So my left hand is literally my little fingers hovering over Control, and I'm just switching between A and B, and then I'm just using the mouse for everything else. So for me to have to lift my hand off the mouse and press a button on the Stream Deck and put it back again, it'd be so disjointed and jarring. It would drive me crazy. So yeah, I think we've all got different ways of doing things that are good. But
well, had it not been like a year, I would probably be in the same thing. I would probably argue the same thing. I'd be like, no, all of a sudden I need to take my hand off the keyboard and I need to do this, and then I need to come back over here. Yeah. But it just feels so clunky right now. Like the keyboard shortcuts, like if I want to cut something, it's Control Shift X and then this and then that. And I'm just like, I just need one button for this. I want to put my cursor here and be like, one button, do what I need it to do.
Yeah.
So I've been making a lot of custom ones. You know, it's not, hey, this is a default one. I do this when it does the full ripple cut. I do this when it does a fade over transition between these two clips.
Yeah.
So
that's the one thing that I can't get my head, well, I can get my head around it, but I can't get out of the muscle memory of from using Adobe Premiere. And that is when you want to delete something, I go to press the delete key, but in DaVinci Resolve, it just moves everything else gets deleted as well. And you're like, I didn't want to do that. Undo.
You're like, please, no.
You got to press backspace instead.
Yeah, they don't tell you that there's like 3 deletes. There's a normal delete, there's a delete everything, and then there's a ripple delete. And
yeah, it's the ripple delete's the one that's on the delete key, and it's in. You would think it would just ripple delete the track you're on. So, I mean, for me, I've got like 3 audio tracks. I've got a video track. I've got a track above that for some coloring and stuff. I've got music tracks and things like that. So if I press delete on the video track, because that's the one I want to cut a chunk out, I don't want everything else to slide back as well. I just want it to be that one. But, oh, man.
Doesn't work like that, does it?
No. Speaking of things that are difficult and complicated, this week I have been continuing work using C++ programming, which is a nightmare. I don't understand it. It's horrible. And I spent most of my time with my head in my hands trying to read documentation on the internet in order to fix my prune tool and make a new tool as well. And I've fixed my prune tool. It's working very nicely. I've even put in like a database optimization feature in there as well, which is great. So that all works really nicely for 1.18.31 plus world now, because that's when everything changed. And the new tool was actually an idea I got from Mr. Bolrog during my last live stream, which was basically I used my prune tool to prune my patron world when I updated it to 1.19, but I did it so well, I managed to cut an extra 1,000 chunks out of the nether, deleting a lot of people's hard work and buildings. So they were like, is there any way you could just like copy and paste the bit of the old world back in again? And I'm like, no, but I could probably build that knowing what I know for the prune tool. And then I got to thinking, it would be really simple to just like, you have a source world and a destination world, and you go, okay, I want these chunks from this dimension in the source world, and I want them to go into these chunks into this dimension in the next world. And theoretically, it works. I can move any chunks from one world to the next world, and I've got that working, but there's a problem when it comes to things like entities and chest inventories, because the data for those isn't stored in the same way. So when I was doing it, I'm like, oh, wow, I've managed to put all of this bit of world into a whole new world in a different place. That's working great. Where's all the entities? Oh, where's everything out of the chests? Oh, and it turns out there's a lot more work I'd need to do that. But if you're just doing it in the same location, if you were doing like from 0 to 64 in the source world and then the same in the destination world, it's fine because nothing changes. It's just when you shift in the actual position of it. But it's nearly done. It's a bit of a headache, and the next bit's going to be really hard. So that's probably another 3 weeks of doing nothing going into that. So that's it for my week. It's Nellie's birthday today, though. She's officially 2.
Oh,
That doesn't seem like it.
Right?
I know. So, yeah, that has been my week. Moving on. Oh, go on.
I just want to say, you're so consistently busy with the most, what seems random, but isn't. Like, it always has like a purpose, and it always makes sense, but it just seems like it comes out of nowhere sometimes. I'm just like, we'll be talking about one thing you're doing, like, oh, I'm working on this website, and we're like, cool, that's great. And then you're like, okay, I'll get back to TB, or I'll get back to videos. And then the next week you're like, oh no, see, I was gonna do a video, but then I realized this wasn't working. And then since this wasn't working, now I'm all the way over here. And I'm just like, oh wow, okay.
I'm like a pinball machine. Just
yeah,
bing, bing,
you're
bing,
just
bing. I'm getting lots of points though, so it's all good.
Yep, there you go.
I haven't fallen
I'm
down like the gutter at the bottom yet. It's good. Oh, geez. Moving on from this week, it's time to go into the feedback. And this week's feedback, we got quite a bit, actually. So I suppose we should start at the beginning with Squirrelicious, who says, thank you so much, Foxy, for helping me understand what was happening with the clone function and the cannot plate blocks outside of world error. I couldn't figure out what I was doing to fix the issue, but I was obviously just moving around a bit and loading the unnecessary chunks. I experienced this in 1.18.30, so it's not a 1.19 change. Great show this week, as always, guys. Really looking forward to a deliberately live podcast sometime soon. Yeah, I was actually a bit wrong with my thoughts on what was going on there. So I was convinced after doing loads of testing the first day that it was to do with what chunks that you would physically be in order to run the command. But it did turn out it is actually to do with the simulation distance, even though it seemed really weird because in my mind, the simulation distance is a cube around the player, but it's not. It's a radius. So if you're trying to do a fill command, which is a square, and you've got a simulation distance of 4, you're limited to like 40 blocks on the diagonal. So you can only do a tiny weeny fill command. So then I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll put the simulation distance up to 12. But for some reason, the commands I was running still weren't working, but I don't know. But I couldn't replicate it the next day, so I got to put my hands up and say human error there. It must be the simulation distance. So I'm an idiot. There you go.
Merrick says, in the latest episode, number 24, y'all talked about using echo shards instead of amethyst shards to duplicate the LAs. It made me think of ways Mojang could make the Echo Shard renewable. What if we could place a Skulk Catalyst near a budding Amethyst block, and when a mob died nearby, the Skulk could spread to the budding Amethyst to convert it to a budding Echo block? The budding Echo block would work the same as a budding Amethyst in that it would grow shard clusters, but now they would be Echo Shards. In general, I love that idea. I think that's really like a neat idea, but I think that kind of makes the point moot. Like it was, okay, we should make something rare more useful, but that's making something rare no longer rare.
Yeah, it's making it farmable.
Yeah. The thing, when I first read it, I was like, no, I don't like this idea. What's the point in having an Amethyst cluster then in that case? But then reading that again, when Jessie's just read that back, I do like the idea that when the Skulk spreads, it might corrupt certain blocks. So I do. I don't see an issue with the Echo Shard being renewable, because at the end of the day, it does nothing. You get a recovery compass, which is about as useless as a poisonous potato, so unless there's something else going on with those that they need to be rare, I don't have a problem with that. But you're right, it doesn't solve the problem of making ally duplication a little bit more of a trial. Although, having said that, Amethyst geodes generally are quite high up in the world, and Skulk's generally pretty low down, although it's not difficult to move a Skulk Catalyst and sort of get it to generate somewhere else, I guess. But yeah, I don't know, I'm a bit on the fence on that one.
Yeah, that one, I don't know. I like the fact that they're rare, but right now they're rare and useless. Can we get them some use, and then I'll decide if I like them to be farmable or not. Right now, they're just rare and useless.
Just like poisonous potatoes, rare and useless.
Oh, just kind of like this. Well, no. Oh, that sounded wrong. It's okay, Rotated Outface. I love you. But Rotated Outface said, Foxy, during the podcast, whenever you say how you can get in touch, you always mention the email address and the contact form, but never this very Discord. Foxy, what gives?
I did reply to Ruff on the Discord, actually, after that. The reason is that when you have channels on the Discord that people can type in, people will type in them. And when you only want people to type specific things in those channels, such as like feedback, it's very difficult for other people not to read that and go, oh, I've got an opinion on that, so I want to write about it, which makes then siphoning through those things to find the original feedback quite tricky. And normally there's a conversation behind it, and you kind of think, well, what's the point now? They've done it on their own. Now, our Discord at the moment, the Minecraft Update Podcast Discord, is not particularly popular, so there's not a massive amount of problem there at the moment, but hopefully in the future when it's a bit busier, then it will be. And from the experience of having my own Discord for FoxyNoTail and having similar channels and struggling to find the stuff I need, I opted to just say, hey, here's the thing that makes it easy for us. But I have pulled this out of the Discord today, so, don't worry about it. You can do it on the Discord, but I'd prefer it if it was on the email or in the contact form, okay?
The fox needs his life to be just a little bit easier, basically. Just do what makes the fox man happy, and we'll all be happy.
Exactly, yes. Do as I say, not as I do. Yeah, right. Okay, Benji says, hey, Foxy, Slack, and Jess. I figured you would want some feedback on the wild update, so I thought I would do it early. I'm also doing this on Thursday, so depending on when you record, it might not be so early. This was last week. My feedback is that it's a great update overall. It was not really hyped for it, though. Oh, I was not really hyped for it, though. The chest boats are not that usable, the frogs are hard to come by, and the new biomes are hard to find as well. Also, the chunks and crafting are just slow to generate. I play on mobile, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it being slow, but my iPhone is decent. The good things about the update is that we have more to explore if we can find it, and a better way for XP, but the XP is still going to be hard to get. So overall, 5.5 out of 10. Sorry for the book. That's a very specific 5.5 out of 10.
He just wanted it to be slightly above 50%. That's all. He was like, I like it, but it's not that great. So 5.5.
I bet they're one of those people when you go to the doctor and the doctors say, can you give me a scale of how painful it is on like 0 to 10? And they give an answer. When they ask me that, I'm like, I don't know. What's 10? Is 10 I'm dead? is 0. I can't feel it. How can you scale pain like that? It's ridiculous. So yeah. Anyway, maybe that's just me, but good news, Benji. There's a locate biome command in this week's news that's coming very, very soon to a Bedrock edition near you. So hopefully that will help you find the things you're not able to find.
Tyler B says, I wanted to say in the latest episode 24, Jessie's audio sounds echoey. It is only Jessie's though. Slack and Foxy sound perfectly fine. I would say it is my headphones as they are Bluetooth, but they have never had this issue before. And the audio quality is a lot better than most people say. Not saying it is you, Foxy or Jessie, but I wanted to bring it up. It was me.
No, it's definitely his headphones. Definitely headphones.
No,
Headphones. Yeah,
no,
headphones.
it was me. I placed my phone next to my Go XLR, and so there was lots of electricity, static, and poor Foxy had to do his very best.
It was so weird. I got got halfway through editing, and all of a sudden, every time Jessie spoke, because Jessie uses a Go XLR, it's got a built-in gate, which means that when she's not saying anything, there's no sound. You can't hear any air conditioning. You can't hear any background noise. It's just perfectly quiet. But as soon as Jessie talks, the gate opens to allow the audio that she's saying to go through. And every other noise in the room as well comes through at the same time, which means it's very difficult for any noise processing utilities to work because they're looking for the quiet spots to find the background noise to get rid of. But then what happened is halfway through, all of a sudden, every time Jessie spoke, there was this bzzz that was more louder than Jessie's voice. And I'm like, what's going on? You could hear Jessie through it, but it was so loud. And it turned out it was after doing a lot of fiddling with the audio and using different effects to try and get rid of it. It turned out it was a 60 hertz frequency with 60 hertz frequency harmonics, which I had a filter for, which was handy. But putting the filter on it made Jessie sound really wishy-washy. So I tried to boost the sort of areas that were lacking in her audio, and as a result, it made it sound a bit echoey. Now, what I should have done is cut the audio in half, left the beginning bit alone, and only applied that to the second bit, but I didn't. So, sorry, Jessie. But it did take me extra time again to solve the problems.
Well, now we know. Won't happen again. Also, Tyler says, I think Slack should have his phone go off every podcast episode. It should be an iconic feature like the dance break. Now, what about Foxy, though? I think G's should be Foxy's trademark.
I do say G's quite a lot, don't I?
A lot, yeah.
Jeez.
Jeez. Well, it's better than what I could be saying. I'm just saying. We don't want any more feedback telling us off about bad language, do we? So I'll keep my other ones to myself.
You mean about the spiky bushes?
What?
I mean, I just built the Double D tower in, on the server. Just saying.
Okay, moving on. What's Bugsalotl got to say, Slack?
I think that the warden shouldn't do its a sonic boom when it's chasing after you. And it would be able to kill you, but you are just a bit faster. Love your podcast, and I'm always excited for a new episode.
If it doesn't use its sonic boom when it's chasing after you, when should it do its sonic boom?
Exactly. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. I mean, I guess it's because it does stop every once in a while and it sniffs you. Yeah. So I guess maybe you could say, okay, well, it sniffs you and then it finds you and then echoes you. But that just seems redundant. Like why? Just no, it's chasing you. It's going to sonic you and you're going to die. It hurts a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that the warden is faster than you when it's fully angry, and the sonic boom has an incredible range. So, but it does sort of stop to do that, but there's still not really an easy way to avoid it. Once the warden's got onto you and it's chasing you, you're dead. There's nothing you can do about it. So, yeah, I kind of like that, but I can also see the point of let's maybe, shorten the range of its sonic boom a bit and make it a bit slower, but then it wouldn't be as fun, would it?
I know I quite like how it is now, but I mean, I was going to say, I went and I did a raid, I guess is what we would call it, with some of the other members.
Went without
and
me.
As a group, hey, you know what? I was so sad you backed out. I was like, yay, Foxy's going to come hang out with us. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He was like, nope, sorry, go. And we were like, crushed, heartbroken. Sad
Sorry.
days.
I really wanted to go as well. Although I was not in the frame of mind to go. If I'd have gone with you, I would have just been, I was thinking about other things. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I
get it.
My head was deep in what I was doing at the time. And if I came out of it, I would have just been a zombie. So I thought I don't want to just bring everybody down by me thinking about how to make a cloning tool.
No, I get it. What I was going to say, though, right, is as a group, it was a lot of fun, right? Like as a group, we had, I think, 5 people and we were just laughing. It was a great time. It was completely terrible. Everyone died, but it was so much fun, right? But I went alone. I went alone later on in the day because I happened across one when I was mining. And I did it absolutely fine. Literally, I rated the entire thing. Didn't even get a black screen of doom. Like, nothing happened.
Sneaky,
and I was
Jessiie.
like, okay, yeah. So what I'm thinking is, I think it's perfectly adequately hard right now because it's so hard to trigger sometimes. Like, as long as you're not running around and, hitting every sensor, then you're going to be fine. It's never going to see you, whatever. But if you're going with a group, it's just a death cycle.
What I noticed in testing is that the placement of the skulk sensors, which are obviously the things that trigger the shriekers, which trigger the wardens, are really random, and they seem to have really reduced the number of them in the deep dark. So I was doing a lot of testing, and I found areas where I could just go. I could jump, I could run, I could go in any chests I want, and there were just no skulk sensors around to trigger the warden. Whereas, other areas, there was quite a few cobbled together, and they were sending out multiple signals to multiple shriekers, which was causing the warden to emerge very quickly. And I think it would be nice if they just made those part of the structures, so they're in specific places, so that there's always going to be one in somewhere near a chest, so that it's harder. Yeah. But I guess it's a bit of random chance. Maybe the one you went to after the group, there was just less of them in the areas where you needed them to be, potentially.
Yeah, it's very possible.
Anyway, moving on. Jonas Craft 11 says, I really enjoy your podcast. I've only listened to 2.5 of the podcasts and I'm hooked. It's funny and it doesn't focus on the downsides of Minecraft. I love the wish list. I enjoy hearing your guys' opinions on the feedback from the Minecraft website. Well, that's lovely. Thank you very much, Jonas Craft. I'm glad you enjoy it.
No.
Very quiet, Mr. Lizard. I think Mr. Lizard's a bit warm. Delirious. Yeah. Hasn't said a word in about 20 minutes.
It's toasty. It's
Poor
toasty.
Slack is over there just melting.
He knows I've got to deal with his audio this week, which is the air conditioner on full whack. Oh, yeah. Great.
It's full power blowing straight at me. So you're going to get the nice crosswind this week and everything.
Great. Well,
at least I turned the fan down the low.
If Slack's audio's missing from the podcast this week, then you all know why. Either that or it just sound horrible.
Oh, goodness. Matt says, hello, Foxy, Slack, and Jenny. Sorry I had to say that. I think the warden shouldn't do its sonic boom when it's chasing you. So when it can reach you, but you are running. Love your podcast. I'm always excited for the next one. So this is basically the same thing, right? So the general feedback seems to be people don't like that it uses its attack while it's chasing you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll tell you, watching people stream it and it attack you while you're running away is hilarious.
Yeah, it's great. Makes great content, man.
It makes great content to watch. Haven't experienced it yet, but watching it, love it. It's hilarious. Yep, you're running. Yeah, you think you're safe? Boom. I love it.
That's almost identical to the one from Bugdate,
yeah.
but
yeah, it is.
Better grammar in English. So, well done, Matt. Thank you.
Right, Patman. Is it Patman time? It's Patman time, right?
You've got to say 09, otherwise in the next feedback they'll be like, "Are you Mr. 09?"
Yeah, 09. He got mad.
Okay, 09, or maybe I'll go 09.
Yeah,
okay?
there you go.
09?
Yeah.
09 Patman. Great podcast, everyone. Take a bet on what natural disaster Slack will hear this week. There could be a lot of them. Or what Jessie's disease will catch. Huh? Or what disease Jessie will catch. Wow. I bet Foxy is immune to all bad things that could happen to him. I assure you, as somebody who's been friends with Foxy for over 3 years now, no, he's not immune at all.
The difference is, generally speaking, I don't share it that much with the world when things go wrong. I try to project a positive outcome to everybody rather than telling you all of the misery that goes on. But generally speaking, there's not been much misery for a while. It's been very nice.
Slack. Foxy just called us miserable complainers.
Yeah, no, you notice he's the one always complaining about how he's doing some side project. I can't get no time to Minecraft and I'm doing all these other things.
I'm not going to say I don't moan. I like moaning. It's part of my personality. But there's a difference.
It's part of your Britishness, yeah.
With it, well, I suppose I do talk about it, but I don't know. I don't know if it's a difference between a British thing, an American thing. You tend to find, in my experience, that people from America tend to be very, very happy to share the most intimate of life details with you, whether you want to hear it or not. Whereas people in Britain, they don't look up from the floor when they're walking past people they know to say hello because they don't like to share anything. So I think there's probably a little bit of that going on. I'm not saying you two are like that, but you know, I've been to America. I've met people that are just, you're just walking past them and all of a sudden, like 20 minutes later, you know that guy's life story, what he had for breakfast and when he had his vasectomy. And you're like, oh, okay, thank you very much.
Hey, the other day while I was out there changing that transmission and it was 110 degrees, my uncle's cousin showed up and he wanted to tell me all about how when his sister and her boyfriend split.
Moving on. Zeta says, okay, just finished episode 22. I really think you do more diamond and ore intensive mining. I tune into Foxy and Slack stream and they're digging out tunnels and excavating the nether for farms and all of the blocks they need for a build. Sometimes they're connected, like Basalt Farm that requires breaking blocks. I tune into Jessie's stream and she's taking leaves and making pretty trees. It's not about the quantity of blocks mined, it's the quality. Jeez, all right then. Wow.
Okay, well, in that case, because everyone calls you a crazy tree lady, you should have boxes of trees and leaves, not diamonds.
She literally does.
I literally do.
I've already had 2 double chests with the logs off her, so...
Yeah, I have.
I wonder if that block counts went up any in the past month if I were to look at her profile.
It has.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Massive lack of mangrove trees on truly. I've not been to a mangrove biome yet, and I'm not going to find one because Slack's had all the mud and Jessie's had all the trees. Just going to find a hole in the world.
I got papagules. I've been doing them myself. I haven't demolished anything yet.
Yeah.
Just wait.
Okay, fair enough. Well, that is the end of this week's feedback. If you would like to leave us feedback, just join the Discord and chuck it all in there. Don't worry about the email address, which is news@theminecraftupdate.com, or the feedback form, which is really useful for us. Forget it. Just go on the Discord, put it all in there. It's fine. Moving on from the feedback, we're going into the news, and there has been news this week. There's been actually quite a bit of news, although it's not very full news, if you know what I mean. There's not, like, we've got some changelogs, but there's nothing in them. The first one is Java 1.19 has finally had its first snapshot, which was snapshot 22W24A. In that, they got the alley duplication, which is pretty much exactly what we got on Bedrock Edition, mate. And they got a load of minor bug fixes. So I think this update was literally just to put that in. But there is one other thing that came out in that, which I thought was kind of interesting. And that is something they've gone into quite a bit of detail on called player chat reporting. And I think this would be very, very useful for Bedrock Edition, although I think it could be quite easily abused. And what it is on the Java chat, if you're playing multiplayer, and somebody has chatted something that you don't like, maybe they've said rude words or they've been, one of the ists that is not allowed these days. And if you think it's bad, you can interact with your social screen by pressing P and basically report them. And if that player gets enough reports, they'll probably get banned from multiplayer Minecraft. Now, you would think that's dead easy to just, bot ban people, but you do have to actually submit the chat report or click on their chat and tie it in with the chat report. So I'm assuming there's some sort of system in the background. I can't believe it's a manual process at all, but something that's logging all these things and probably like doing some sort of searching on there to try and figure out if they're bad or not in order to do something at the other end. But yeah, I thought if that isn't abused, that's a nice system to have. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think that's one of those things that it has every potential to be abused, which is scary to me. I never like that feeling. However, if it is done right and there is some sort of oversight and it's a real system where you have to prove it, I think that's brilliant. I think anything that makes chats feel safer in general, I feel like I'm not going to complain about that. It just does worry me that it could be abused.
Yeah, it's kind of completely come down to how it's handled at the other end, isn't it? So if it's a really overactive system, a little bit like, Streamer Bot that doesn't allow you to do anything, then people are just going to be getting banned left, right and centre. And Mojang support is useless. It's awful. You can be waiting in a queue for 3 months and not hear back from them. So getting your account reactivated if it's been falsely brought down is going to be awful. And the other thing I'm thinking is that this system needs to be fast and it needs to be automated because particularly younger kids that are on minigame servers are just going to be spamming that thing, reporting everything, because half the time they probably won't even know if it's bad and they just think it is, and they'll be sending off reports left, right and centre. So I think Mojang have really made some work for themselves with that one. What do you think, Slack?
This one's a torn one because I know some stuff about the Bedrock, or not the Bedrock system, the Xbox system, that I wouldn't want out there as public knowledge. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. Because the system that's on Xbox Live can be abused. I know that for a fact. Right. I know it can be abused. And there is a system in place on Xbox Live right now that needs work. Good talk, right?
Yeah. Okay. Anything else on that, Jessiie, before we move on to the next?
Nope, I think that covers it.
Okay. In that case, the next one is some pretty big news from a very small snapshot again. This is the Bedrock Preview 1.19.10.23, which has hardly anything in it, really. It's a relatively long change list, but it's mostly waffle, which is nice to see that they're actually filling these things in with a reasonable amount of detail now. It does look like they're trying harder to do that. But the big thing that comes out of this is that they've finally brought the locate biome command over to Bedrock Edition, which means that we can actually locate biomes, which is absolutely fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to being able to use that and search out new things for potential servers for patrons, make sure everything's in the right place, or just when you're doing testing as well. When I've been doing all this preview testing, flying around to find mangrove biomes or trying to find the deep dark, it's not been easy. So, it's nice that I can just do that now. What'd be really nice if we could have the feature from Java when you've got coordinates in your chat, you can click on them and then add that to the function, because it's really annoying that when you got your coordinates in the top left of the screen, and then you press T to enter or you'd like to go into the chat window, or you press / to start writing a function, and you want to teleport to those coordinates, and it disappears. And you're like, man, have I really got to write this down so that I can type it in? So that would be lovely if we could just click on that, please. That'd be nice.
Right. I literally have a notepad next to me that is just full of coordinates, like right here, just coordinates that I have to then. Yeah, it's annoying.
Yeah, it is really annoying. Slack, you were about to say something there.
Oh, it's one of those things we've needed forever, and it's like we knew mob spawning was coming, mob despawning, sorry. And it's like we finally got it, and we're like, hey, we're happy about that. This is one of those that we've knew should be going down the works for a long time, and it's good to see it in the game. Yeah,
it's yet another thing that they're porting over, and I'm going to get to this in the news a bit later on, but it does feel significantly at the moment like there's a big push to get people over from Java Edition to Bedrock, but we'll get to that soon. Before that, though, still on this change list, items held by Elyra now glow in darkness, which is odd. Does that mean when you've got the darkness effect, or when it's just nighttime? And why? Why would they glow? And it's not glow like, oh, it shines light, it's dynamic lighting. It just means they don't darken. So what do you guys think that means?
I don't really get the point of that one. Unless you want to see, in the dark, your guys sorting all the stuff. I mean, I guess it could be a cool light show if you got 37,000 allays carrying items back and forth.
Yeah, it does say on the bug report that it says it's fixed. It does mention it's nighttime, so I think the word darkness there's a little bit. They should have probably said when it's dark rather than darkness. But yeah, bit of a weird one. Moving on from that, there's some stuff that's happened to mangrove signs. They've now using the right textures, and there's iron bars and glass panes will now connect to mangrove roots, and there's just a bunch of nonsense, really. That's kind of it. There's not really a great deal in there. So, I'll tell you what though, they have nerfed shulkers. Thankfully, finally, the shulker bullet will only actually give you the levitation 1 effect rather than levitation 2. So you shouldn't go disappearing quite so far. And they've also they've made fish health points to 3 to match Java Edition. But that's pretty much it. That really is. There's loads of stuff in there if you're interested in reading it, and obviously the changelog will be in the description, but it's a bit of nonsense, really. What do you guys think about the shulkers?
I didn't know that they did levitation 2. It's kind of like I didn't know that the pufferfish did poison 4 versus poison 2.
That's eating pufferfish, yeah, would give you poison 4 instead of poison 2, so they've dropped that down, yeah.
I don't know how I feel about the shulker thing. Like, for me, it seems like they're trying to make the end just boring. I don't know. It's just me feeling very much like I want an end update. So everything that they keep doing with the end, like shulkers being nerfed or anything else, it just feels like, why are you trying to make me not want to go to the end? Like, there's no risk, there's no nothing. I just go get a shulker, then there's a million farms you can do. I don't know. This one just feels weird to me.
I don't think they've specifically picked it out because it's the end. It's just another vanilla parity thing, and I'm sure they've probably been through and like made a list of what should be in the game and what shouldn't, and that's just the next one on the list. So I mean, I'm happy about that, because that's the thing that drives me crazy about going to the end, is that when you get hit by a shulker bullet, it's fine. I don't mind the fact that you go up so high. It's just how long you're floating for before you can do anything about it. You're like, I got to do things, I've got to be places. I could spend the entire time up here in the sky.
That's true.
So
another thing on this, that the technical update, the components. Okay. Minecraft Angry. Now, the way I read that, it seems like it's in relation to llama related stuff, but I'm curious if it'll affect pigment in their aggro system.
Yeah, it will affect anything that uses the anger system. So yeah, I can't remember exactly which mobs do that, but there's quite a few. So basically, if you like dogs, if you upset one, the rest of them get upset as well. So basically, what was happening is when you upset a mob that had this anger component, it wasn't sending it out to the other things that it should have done, so the other ones weren't getting angry, basically. I think something along those lines. So I think they've just fiddled with that a bit and hopefully made it work.
Yeah, because like right now, the anger system on Bedrock for piglins is like broke. It's beyond broke. It's like a % chance it doesn't anger every pigman. And I'm curious with them messing with it, if it will make it anger every pigman, because if it does, then that could change up how goat farms are made really quick and easy.
Yeah, if they actually got angry properly, that would be good. So it's definitely worth checking out. That would be very worth checking out. Right, that's it from that changelog. The next one I put in the news is not really news, but it's something I wanted to talk about. And I don't know if you've both seen it. I'm pretty sure you have, Jessiie, because I'm sure I saw you talking about it. Oh, no, it's not that one. We got another one first that I'm already clicking on. I'm reading the wrong one. But yeah, we've got a brand new Minecraft game, which is called Minecraft Legends, and it's coming out next year. And all I know, having watching the trailer and being kind of confused, is that it's a action strategy game, but I don't really know what that means. So do either of you know anything about this, and can you explain to me what it is?
No, I have no clue. I haven't even watched the trailer. I'm literally clicking it now.
Yeah, I watched the trailer, and the Hubs was trying to explain like what kind of game it was, because I was like, doesn't this just look like dungeon? I was so confused. I did not get it at all. And he was like, it's more like an open world type thing. So it's not dungeony. It's not a dungeon crawler. It's like you can go out and do stuff. And I was like, I don't
Like,
with
wow.
like the same kind of graphics as like dungeons, but so not Minecraft as we know it. And it is limited, but it's overworld. I don't know. It looks weird. I'm confused. I don't know what to think about it. So I'll just wait until they give me more information.
Yeah, when I watched the trailer, the first part of the trailer, it looks like Dungeons. And I'm like, oh, wow, it's got the same like play style as Dungeons. It looks like Dungeons. This looks really exciting. But that was just like the CG trailer. And then when it cut into the gameplay, it was like a mishmash between the Dungeons and a normal Minecraft, but obviously with new flowers and blocks and things that weren't full blocks. So it looked better on that front. But it just didn't have that. Like, Dungeons is beautiful. It's so nicely done. The textures are gorgeous. The lighting's gorgeous. And then when they cut to it, it just looked like a really sort of weird mod. I know there was stuff in there where they're like kind of sort of building with using a wand to make a wall and something. I think it's to do with piglins trying to attack or something.
Yeah, it looks like it's kind of maybe a mock-up. Yeah, I see what you're talking about now. It's got that view of like a strategy game like StarCraft or something like that, but they're trying to mix it with Minecraft. Like the original Warcraft was a strategy game. It wasn't an open world RPG, you know? Well, you say, oh, I played Warcraft. Oh, you played WoW? No, I played Warcraft back when it was a strategy game before it ever became an open world RPG. So I'm torn.
And the weird thing is that the trailer was nice, but it didn't really tell you what was going on. And if you go to the website, which is what I'm looking at now, there's like 5 words on it. There's a download link to download wallpapers. You can put your email addresses to sign up for newsletter. And that's it. All it says is gather your strength, explore a familiar yet mysterious land full of diverse, lush biomes and rich resources. Well, that could just explain Minecraft. But this paradise is on the brink of destruction. The piglins have arrived and they're threatening to corrupt the overworld. Kind of sounds like a TB story.
Wait, that's what, huh? Really?
Defeat the piglins, inspire unexpected friends to form valuable alliances and lead them in strategic battles to protect their home. Take the fight to the piglins before the nether corruption devours the overworld. Was that not season 2?
Yeah, that was our season 2.
Yeah.
That was our whole storyline for season 2.
First Hermitcraft steal our moon ending, and now Minecraft Legends has stolen our... Wow. We're obviously doing something right, peeps. We're ahead of the game.
Oh, dear God.
But yeah, there's nothing on it. I got to admit, I've never watched StarCraft or played it. I have no idea what an action strategy game looks like or how it plays. So I've got no opinion on this yet, but I am excited that there is another Minecraft game coming and I'm looking forward to it. One thing I will say though, again, is that they've really made the villagers look a bit weird. I don't know why they've done that, but the villagers don't look like, well, they kind of look like Minecraft villagers, but they've made them really toony. And I don't think it works. I don't know. I mean, the village is so iconic. Why not keep it how it was?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's definitely.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to reserve judgment until they actually give us information.
Yeah.
Because right now there's nothing.
They've got another year on it. Now, they did say at one point, I'm sure, I can't remember when it was, you go back far enough, but they said there were another 2 Minecraft games in the works. So obviously this is one of them. I have no idea what the other one's going to be, but I'm looking forward to finding out. However, we might not find out anything, because according to Ant Venom, the downfall of Minecraft and Mojang has begun. Now, I don't want to be that person that has a go at a content creator or anything like this or that or the other. But I watched that video, and at no point was there any reference to why there was going to be anything bad for Minecraft or Mojang and why there would be a downfall. So it's one of those, he put a question mark at the end of it to get away with it being, sensational, clickbaity title. But it is. Why did he title it that? It doesn't make sense, because his video was basically talking about a developer version of the game that marketplace creators have and why it wasn't fair.
Yeah.
It was just seemed like he was moaning about that, and he was using these examples of someone else that was linking to like illegal downloads of it, and they got copyright striked, and you know Mojang handled it the wrong way. But I think that video just purely existed because he wanted to tell everybody about this, but didn't want to do it in a way that he was going to get banned. So he made this really weird, sensational title for it and put it out in a really weird way. But I was watching it and going, I don't get it. What's the problem? What do you guys think?
It was, so I watched the whole video. I watched it. I sat down because I'm sure you guys saw we got tagged on Twitter, and then it was put in the Discord. And so I was like, okay, I'll sit down. I'll watch it. And I went into it with an open mind thinking, okay, I'm willing to hear what's wrong. And the whole thing just made me so irritated because they started off being like, okay, well, there are some bugs. There's some things that they haven't taken care of, like you can fall through the world. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's, you know, all stuff that we've seen, we know about. Yeah, it's a thing. And then he brought up something that, oh, well, they said this was an intentional feature and they're not going to fix it. And you're like, okay. And then harped on for like 10 minutes about the developer version of the game. And I was like, okay, well, what? And then made the comment, well, it's not that I care that they have it. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You care that they have something you don't. And are just complaining about it for no reason. And then trying to bring up, oh, Mojang, or they're copyright striking anyone who's talking badly about them. No, they're not. There's literally an agreement when I'm guessing, right? Because there's an agreement with lots of things. When you download games, when you buy games, when you become a partner, when you do all of these things, there's an agreement, and they have it in terms of services. And one of the things I'm sure for being a marketplace creator is you can't upload it. You can't give it away for free.
Don't share it.
Yeah, it's not a thing. So the fact that I think the reason he got in trouble is he put it up for download, right? Like the original person, I remember that being part of the video.
Yeah, they linked to a download link in their video. So obviously Mojang got on it like hot on it and found the easiest way to strike their channel to take the video down. Mm-hmm. And then like, yeah, okay, they went around doing that, and basically they said that it contained a song that they didn't own, but it had the effect that they were after, which was, we don't want people downloading this because it's how you get Minecraft for free, and we don't want people having to access to these developer tools because these are for developers. Which is fine. That's absolutely fine. You don't get any other game or program where the developers are just like, here, have the developer version of this and have access to all of our tools. No. The fact that they exist, of course they exist. How do you think developers develop stuff? They're not just... man, it just blows my mind how short-sighted the whole video was. And I like I said, I mean, a lot of Ant Venom stuff's been great. I've enjoyed watching the videos, but this one was just so weird.
Hey, you want to know what, Foxy? Yeah. I almost wanted to bet you there's a way to be creative on Elden Ring. I bet you there's a way to go in and edit the environment. But you know what? That's a developer version, and you are not getting it.
It's not fair. Why should the developers have that and not me, Slack?
Because they make the game, you play the game.
No, that's not how it works. I bought this game, so I should have it. So
God, now you might as well go into the NTF, whatever thing.
It's a mind-boggling. And the thing that confused me, or not even just confused me, is the amount of support that video had.
I know.
Looking at the comments, everyone was like, yeah, my Mojang's going downhill. Like, oh, this is so bad. This is the end of the game because they're not giving us free stuff. And it's just like, what is going on? Like, and to the point where it's naive to think that that's all just kids, right? Like, because that's the easy comment. Well, kids will be kids, and there's something. No, there are way too many old people on there complaining and supporting this, and that's why they can do videos like this. That's why clickbait works. That's why sensationalization works. Like when all of this happens, you have these people who are just like, yeah, ooh, go complaining, get us stuff we want, and it's just like, grow up. Like I can't. I try so hard to be like a nice middle ground person, right? Like I live there. That's where I have peace of mind, is staying central. I'm middle. I'm happy. This actually bothered me. I was like, what is wrong with you? There was no reason for this video to begin with. And then all of the random support just did my head in. I was like, nope, done.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And obviously I'm in a privileged position because I'm a marketplace partner and I have no idea what I can or can't say about such software. But yes, I have access to it. It's not a version that they just make for marketplace creators, as he said in his video. It's just the one that the developers use. So the marketplace partners can make good content for the marketplace. But that's the whole point of becoming a partner. You're not a player anymore. You've signed contracts to go into business with Minecraft on the basis that you sign many agreements that state this is just like okay, you're a part of this now. Everything that's part of this you don't talk about. And yeah, I've got so much stuff I could say or I could share, but obviously I've signed things to say that I won't, and that's the agreement I made because I wanted to be a partner. And shouting because you can't have that. It's like,
where does everybody think that they're entitled to everything? Oh, Foxy, you have this kind of car. I'm entitled to that kind of car.
Yeah.
No, the entitlement. Jesus, no.
The thing with software as well, you're not buying the game. You buy a license to play that game. You don't own it. You don't own the code in it. You are just buying the ability to play it. You're buying the ability to load it on your machine and play it. It's not your game. So what the developers and the owners of that game say you can or can't do with it is perfectly fine. So I don't know. It really.
I mean, they could probably go to the point where they could put out a code that breaks the game and leave it like that if they wanted to.
I mean, they could. They'd get a lot of complaints, but yes. At
the end of the day, it's probably in the wording of the license agreement and everything else like that. You know what I mean? It's just because somebody has something doesn't mean you get it too.
No.
And the amount of people engaging in the comments too, saying stuff that in a one-on-one situation, they'd never say it. Keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, it happens all the time on Twitter, don't we? We see a lot of people ranting about everything. And I get it. We've been asking for things like F3 screens in Minecraft for a very long, Bedrock Edition for a long time. And yes, they exist in the as shown on thing by, it's public knowledge because it was an Ant Venom video. This isn't me sharing marketplace information. But yes, it does exist in that version of the game. But it's not, I don't know. There's obviously reasons why they don't want to put that in the main game. And that's probably that it's a buggy. I mean, I can't tell you from personal experience that trying to run the developer of the game crashes more often than it runs. I'm not going to tell you that. I haven't told you that, but it does. So there's probably good reasons why these things don't exist in the game more than just Mojang saying, we don't want you to have it, And from the start of Bedrock Edition, it's always been about giving the player as little as they need in order to keep things nice and easy and tidy for the demographic, which on Bedrock Edition is generally 10-year-old kids, to get on, play a game, and then, start a new world and start playing again. And that's all. You don't need an F3 screen to do that. So I'm sure it will probably come at some point with all of these parity updates we'll get in. But it's not. They're not just being mean and saying no. It's not the downfall of Mojang, in my opinion. Anyway, I think we've driven this one to death. We're an hour in. So unless either of you got anything else to say on this heated topic, we should probably move on to the last piece of news.
Go for it. Yep.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, go for it. 100%. Yep.
The last piece of news is another little bit of speculation from me, and it comes off the back of a thread or a tweet from David Fries that says, "Hey, Java players, did you know that not only do you have access to Minecraft Bedrock, but also Minecraft Preview as well? Now you can try out the latest pre-release features as they arrive on either product." And then basically the row after that was saying the preview wasn't working for Java Edition owners before, but they fixed it now. The reason why I've flagged this one is because obviously it's not particularly new news that they've bundled the two games together now. It's because it was "Hey Java players" with a megaphone emoji at the beginning. And it really does feel with the parity updates we're getting, with this combining the two games so that all of the Java Edition players have access to Bedrock Edition now, with these tweets and the things that we've heard recently, that there is, well, I know we talked about it recently, but it really does keep feeling like there's a big push to get the Java Edition players over to Bedrock at the moment. So I'm mildly concerned, going from the downfall of Minecraft and Mojang, that the idea is probably floating around the offices at Mojang that Java Edition might not be around forever again. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it, but that's really how it feels to me. What do you? Yeah,
I don't think you're reading into it. I feel like if it was an even keel thing, right? Like if it was just, oh, by the way, here's information, then they would have said, oh, did you realize now that you have both games, you can get the previews on either version? Like, you know, it would have been a more even tone. But this was very much, hey, Java, look, Bedrock has stuff too. Like, you know, just try it out.
Exactly. Yeah. It should have been like, hey, Minecrafters, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Minecrafters. Yeah. It was specifically targeted. Sorry, you mentioned that tweet, and then I clicked it and I expanded it, and I'm looking at another one a little bit further down from that, and it shows, I don't know if it's a real tweet or not, but it shows you can copy from in game the coordinates or block position. It's a couple tweets down from that. It's weird. Hold on. Let me post this into our group Discord that nobody else can see at this moment in time, because I'm confused. Because I haven't loaded up and looked into this version yet. Where's our Discord? I'm in it. I'm talking in it. I know it's here. Don't judge me. There, host discussion. Here. Yeah, there.
I don't know, I'm late, but I found a very interesting feature in Minecraft Bedrock Edition Beta 1.19.10.22.
Oh.
My position, block position. Enable copy coordinate. This is what we were just talking about.
Yes, this is what we were just talking about. Yes.
What? Now we can get our chat coordinates without having to go back to the play screen.
Amazing. Perfect. I'm so happy.
That's amazing. Why is not in the change logs?
I don't know. Is it a real tweet? Is it real? Does this really exist?
Yeah, it's got away. Why would no one just going to make that up, are they? And the fact that it's so ugly, the UI to do it, it kind of makes sense. It does look like it's for the touch device chat screen, though, because there's icons at the top that I'm not used to seeing, or maybe they're just new icons. So I'm going to have to look into that next time I load up the preview, which I won't do now because no doubt my computer will crash. Right. Anyway, have either of you got anything else to say about the demise of Minecraft Java Edition, or are we going to move on to the bug date? Because we got quite a lot of bugs this week.
Let's get the bugs going.
Let's get the bugs going.
Okay, the first bug from us, I haven't noticed either of you have put one in. Jack Slack, whatever your name is, was putting the same one in as me. Person. It's going around, and it's also something that I'm aware of and something I've been dealing with because of my new prune tool. And this is that there is a new bug in Minecraft that means that because they've changed how entities are stored in the game, it used to be they were actually stored within the base. Geez, I don't want to give you all a lesson on how the Minecraft database works, but basically, a database is basically like a list of keys. So not like keys you put in the door, but imagine a bullet point list. Every bullet point has an individual key, and each one of those keys has a value. And there is a key for every single chunk, every single sub-chunk. There's chunk information in there. There's key, and it used to be that the entities were stored within those chunks as well, or within this chunk data. But they changed it 1.18.31 to add something called a digest. And the digest is basically some more keys, and all those keys they're really easy to find. Those basically the digest keys have the chunk coordinates and dimension coordinates in the key, so you don't have to read the value of the key like you did with the entities before in order to find out where those entities are. So now the digest just has a list of all of the entities that are within that particular chunk. So if you've got an entity in a chunk, that chunk will have a digest, and you can just find that digest by putting in the key for that, which means finding the entities in the world is way easier. But what happens is now, because this way they've sort of tied it together, if you like. There's a relationship with the entity key, and then there's to this digest key, and then this digest is obviously linked to the chunk. That when an entity dies or despawns, it doesn't always get deleted from the game. It's basically, it gets deleted from the digest, but the entity itself is still there. Or the data for it is still there, and it's effectively what they call a lost entity. And this can happen also when they're going through into different dimensions, because it's every time that entity moves from one chunk to another, or dies or despawns or goes to a different dimension, it has to move, or its reference has to go from the digest chunk information that it was in to a new digest chunk information. And if that digest doesn't exist for that chunk, it's got to create it. So it's quite a complicated system, but obviously it means that there's a little bit like, you know, how maps don't get deleted when you delete the map.
Yeah.
The same thing's happening for the entities, but the entity data is not massive, and it's not happening horrendously. Although when I did run test my prune tool on truly Bedrock World, there were about 6,000 of them that shouldn't have been there.
And I haven't run my mob farm, so
yeah,
you're saying that they're not massive. But what if they're 1 kilobyte per 100 mobs? Okay, and suddenly I run my mob farm for a week straight.
But it's not every single time. It's not every single time when they die. I don't think. If that was the case, there would be millions of them. And I don't think... Maybe it is. Maybe it's just that we haven't done many prunes since this has happened. This has been in the game since 1.18.30 or 31. And so I don't think it happens every single time. I think it's just probably sometimes, maybe, possibly. Who knows? So yeah, that's my bug. But thankfully... You're very welcome. My new prune tool gets rid of them. It finds them out. It searches specifically. After it's done all of its pruning, it will search the entire world. It only takes a split second to find any of these entities that shouldn't be there, and it just goes, boop, all gone now. You're welcome.
Yay, Foxy's win.
Right. Jessie, have you got a bug for us, or are you all bugged out?
I haven't noticed one that we haven't mentioned already.
Okay, in which case we're going to go on to the community bugs. The first two actually, are from Cucumbers. And they say, "Hi, Update Pod crew. I've been playing around with the hasitem target selector argument recently. I know, I'm late to the party. I've noticed a bug where it ignores the data value. For more explanation, check the video on the bug report. This is really annoying me, and I hope it gets fixed soon. If you want to upvote it, here is the link to the bug tracker. I also noticed it cannot detect items when they're picked up in your cursor, like when you're moving them around. I'm not sure if this is intentional. I have not searched for a report on this because it is not annoying me as much. I hope this isn't considered a bug. Cucumbers 6855 was blown up by a creeper whilst flying on a happy Jessie playing with the new bushes." Did that mean anything to either of you?
No.
I don't play creative, so I don't know any of that stuff.
Okay, so
I've noticed that a bug where it ignores the data value. So, like, if you're holding stone 1, it only reads stone. It doesn't read, like, whether it's diorite, andesite, or granite, maybe?
Yeah, this is exactly the same thing. So there's no way it can detect what variant. Now, I don't know whether this is going to be fixed or this is one of those things that are going to phase out, because they've been behind the scenes making a lot of progress since like 1.16 to take things that have data values like stone. So if you don't know what a data value is, basically stone and andesite, granite, diorite, and the polished versions are all just listed as stone, but each one has a data value. So stone is stone 0, I think, like andesite is stone 1, polished andesite stone 2, or something like that. And when you try and run this command to test what item your player is holding, if it's any variation of those, it's going to be reported as stone because it doesn't report the data values. But I would imagine at some point they've been doing it with everything else. They did it with dyes, they've done it with wool, they've done it with beds. They're going to make the stones probably, or this would make sense from my perspective, that the stone would have its own unique block identifier rather than it being part of just stone, which would fix this problem. Yeah. The other problem that they suggested, where it won't detect something when your mouse is holding it. Well, if it's not in your inventory or a hotbar slot, it technically isn't in your inventory or a hotbar slot, so it can't detect it, because that command will only detect things that is actually within your inventory. So that's not a bug. That's just you're just holding an item in midair. It doesn't exist at that particular moment in time.
Yeah, I would agree on that. Yeah.
Jessiie.
Yes.
Also cucumbers.
Okay. I'd like to point out something Jessiie said last week regarding some wild update bugs. I found a bug report for mangrove roots not burning in furnaces, but there's a dev comment on the report stating that it was changed in a beta, so that it can no longer be used as fuel. Here's the link for reference. I have also found the bug for mangrove roots not breaking quicker with an axe, which has been annoying me a lot because I'm building with the new wood like most people. Here's the bug report. I hope these issues get fixed soon and that I have not waffled too much for this to be considered a bug. P.S. Is waffling a British thing, or have I just never heard it? Waffling is definitely a British term.
Oh, 100% British.
Yeah, so that would be why. But this is not a book to me. This is great. You have given feedback for what we were talking about, listed bug reports, added just a quick blurb about what you think. This is great.
Yeah, exactly.
100% love this.
Very nice, and it's concise, and it's a book when it goes on for 3 pages and you're talking about what you did last week for Christmas and you wish that Minecraft had pink blocks.
My cousin's boyfriend's sister. What?
Waffling is one of those words where you might not have heard it before, but you know exactly what it means. If you say absolutely. I'm waffling on, you know what it means.
Yep.
Right, Slack, Patman, 09 Patman. Jeez, get it right.
09 Patman over here. Today I played with my friend against the warden. When we were getting ready, my friend put a recovery compass in his inventory. My game crashed and he was kicked from the game. Then my Microsoft account wasn't working once I restarted Minecraft. I don't know what happened, but this needs to be fixed. I need more details.
I was going to say, did you replicate that? Like, did you go back in and try again? But if you actually got kicked and it wasn't working, I imagine, no, you didn't.
Well, I mean,
just try again.
You're saying your Microsoft account wasn't working. Like, what do you mean not working?
I think they mean, when you go into the game and it tells you to log in and it just doesn't sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think your friend having a recovery compass in their inventory in a world you're not even in is going to affect your Microsoft account not logging in. If it did, well, that's a really amazing bug. But I think that's a whole series of coincidences that's happened there. It sounds to me like you lost your internet connection, well, just at the same time as your friend put the recovery compass in their inventory. So... Yeah,
and let's be honest, and I'm not trying to single out Patman here, but if that was a bug, I think there would be more than this. Would not be the first time we're hearing about it at this point. If every time somebody put a recovery compass in their inventory, the game crashed and broke accounts, I think we would have mass hysteria about Minecraft being broke.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily even. Sorry, Jessiie, go on.
That was it. Just, absolutely.
I was going to say, it's not necessarily your internet connection going, but just your access to the Microsoft servers. Microsoft servers are, renowned for just deciding they're not going to talk to your PC for whatever reason. Like YouTube the other day, I know that's not Microsoft, but all of a sudden the comments just disappeared for everyone because the access to the server that the comments sit on just became, blocked for some reason. So, all these weird things can happen. So I'm hoping 09 Pac-Man that it's definitely a bit of coincidence there rather than it being a bug. But, try it again. If you can replicate it, let us know.
Mm-hmm.
And that is it from the Bugdate this week. If you have got a bug that you want to tell us about that's really irritating you, then just chuck it somewhere in our Discord randomly without linking to it or anything particularly useful. Don't send us an email at news@theminecraftupdate.com, and definitely don't use our handy feedback form, which even has a bug report button. Don't do it. Just slam it on the Discord, and I'm sure we'll find it at some point. Right. Moving on from the wish list.
If you get no emails next week and everything's spammed in the Discord, I'm going to be like, this is all on you.
It'll be a quiet week. It'll be a 10-minute podcast. Moving on from the Bugdate, we're now going to the wish list, which is where we decide or pick 3 things from the feedback.minecraft.net website that we would like added to the game. Or, it's not always things we would like. It's sometimes things we really, really don't want to be added to the game. But I'm pretty sure so far we've been picking things we would like. And I'm going to start with Jessiie, who has picked Shooting Stars, which has 4,930 votes. Jessiie, why do you want Shooting Stars in the game, and what is it?
So the little feedback says they just want basically ambient shooting stars, just every once in a while, like across the sky, just to give more of an atmosphere and make the sky look more than just like a blank space. And I like this idea with everyone talking about the fireflies and how they wanted fireflies and that whole thing, right? I think that this would be a really nice, just atmospheric change. Like no entity, just, random picture that just moves. I like it. I think it's a fun thing that would make the world feel a little more, what is the word I'm looking for?
Alive. Ambient.
There you go. That works. Yeah.
Speaking of bug reports, I just managed to, all that time you were talking, I clicked the link when you started. It's only just loaded. I went to vote and it's just come up with database error. So
yeah. I can't even get down the pages to load on the feedback site right now.
Minecraft.net is down. Everybody panic. It must have been someone putting a recovery compass in their inventory. Get it out of your inventory quick. Jeez. Oh, that sounds amazing. Animated skies or just having the odd... Yeah, that would be great, wouldn't it? Even like having the stars twinkle or something, that can't be difficult to do, surely. Yes, please. I want it. Put it in the good ideas basket.
Can you put that as your next week pack to work on, is an ambient moving sky?
Yay!
Can you suddenly get sidetracked making a sky for Bedrock Edition that moves and has more details to it and prettier clouds?
I don't think it's possible to add animated textures to the environment stuff. I'd love to do that, but I don't think it might be. I'll look into it, but I don't think it is. If it is, consider that tomorrow's job. When I've finished editing the podcast.
Poke at him.
Okay, Slack, you want dyed Elytra, which I'm trying to bring up, but I can't.
Yeah,
it's come up now. It's got 5,360 votes for dyed Elytra.
Yeah, and the whole concept of it is just so we could have different colored Elytras. Foxy could make his orange, Jessiie could make hers green, I could make mine lime. I think it would just be a nice little change, because not everybody...
Yeah.
Versus the whole, one person puts on the cape right now, and everybody has on the cape. What? No.
I've seen it when people do custom ones, and I've seen seen a mod on Java Edition where you can like do banner patterns on your Elytra and things like that, and I like those ideas. Fine, yeah. But we had a customizational beds the other week, didn't we? And for me, it doesn't bother me. It's not something that I'm particularly interested in. But then I'm one of these that when you play a game and you can get different characters and you can get aesthetic stuff from loot boxes, I couldn't care less. I don't care what my character looks like. I just want to play the game. So yeah, I can understand. I can see that being a big thing for a lot of people. But it's not going in my good ideas box, but if it's in yours, that's lovely. What about you, Jess?
I think that it would be a lot of fun. I see, but then I get greedy. Like,
so why can't I dye my pants? Why do I have to wear diamond pants and everybody else is wearing diamond?
I just think, you know how the Elytra has like that weird little color shift when it's enchanted? Well, now I want like an ombre Elytra. Like I want different colors. See, I'm greedy. Now I just want more. But I do like the idea.
Well, with like dyed boots and things like that, I don't think we've got as many color varieties as Java Edition, but in Bedrock and Java, let's say you want red boots. You put your boots in your inventory, or you put some red dye in a cauldron and you dip your boots in, or you can just do it with some dye in your inventory like they can on Java Edition. And then if you want to change the shade or the tone of the boots, then you can put different coloured dyes in. So if you put a blue in, it's going to go purple. Or if you're going to put a white in, it'll go like a lighter shade of red. And then I know on Java, they've got, I think, 32,000 different potential colour. It's basically the colour spectrum. Is it 16-bit colour that they can have for their leather armour? And I'm pretty sure we've got either something similar or something not far away. But
Yeah, we can make many different colors.
yeah.
Cauldron, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
with the cauldron.
Well, you can do it in your inventory as well. You don't need a cauldron now. They added.
What?
Yeah, I don't think so. Oh no, maybe I'm just thinking of Java Edition. Yeah, I think you do need a cauldron now. It was the other
Yeah,
way,
I've-
wasn't it? They added cauldrons to Java, not the.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, you can do that. So I can't see why Elytra, if you were going to dye them, would be any different.
Okay, then I'm all in.
And the other, if you're going to go down that route, though, surely you want to be able to like dye your diamond armor and your iron armor and your gold armor and your netherite armor. Because I hate the look of netherite armor. Let me dye that.
I do too.
Let me change the color because it's rubbish. I have to use a texture pack. I hate using a texture pack that's not like vanilla textures, but I have to because it's just. And I'm the one going, I don't care what my character looks like. I'm not wearing it. It's rubbish.
I don't care except for when I do. And then I care a lot.
When you come into you see another player on the server and they've got this netherite helmet on that goes round their face. You say, oh, no, stop it, go away. I want the diamond one, please. So yeah. Moving on. My piece of feedback this week is that I want them to make it so that sounds get muffled if you're underwater, far away, or behind a wall. And this only has 1,161 votes. But this is something I thought already existed, but apparently not. Like, you know, when you're going mining and you hear zombies and spiders and things through a wall, they often sound distant, obviously, because they're far away. And I think it was just I've been that immersed in the game when I'm doing that I think that the sounds are muffled, but they're not. If you listen, they're just as clear as if you're standing next to them. But I think that would be great. If there's something in the way between you and that mob, if there's a solid block, then if that sound was a little bit muffled, that would be nice. So yes, I would like that one, please. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it could be good. I kind of wish we had the subtitle options like for Java with that.
Yes.
But yeah, I'd still like that. The muffledness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just one more step towards immersion, right? Like it would just be something that's nice to have that kind of gets you more invested in the game or not invested's the wrong word, but just, in it. So, yeah.
It makes sense with us adding mechanics into the game to detect sound and movement that we should start having muffled sounds in water and stuff like that. I mean, they're already doing that with the shulk things, yeah? Yeah,
the wool occlusion that you get with the skulk.
Yeah.
So they can detect if blocks are in the way of something that's receiving a vibration. So it's exactly the same thing. So I think that's possible. What might not be quite as possible though, but also something I'd really like is when you're in a cave, I want the sounds of the things making sounds in there to echo a bit. I want a bit of reverb so that I know I'm in a cave. Yeah, just like that, Slack, just like that. Or maybe a little bit like this. So like I'm in a cave, I'm a bit further away. Very easy to do. I can do that live.
Fancy.
Yeah. I'm not just a pretty face. And I can do an echo as well. Oh, that might sound even better. Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, now I'm in a cave.
Oh,
now do the whole classic echo.
Hang on. Echo! Oh, echo?
There you go.
Echo?
Right, anyway, moving on from my silly soundboard. Has anyone got any more opinions on those things before we obviously do the usual? I don't even need the toilet again this time. It's just I've drunk 2 glasses of water. I'm dying of thirst. And I don't want to complain that it's hot because you guys are really hot. But I'm a bit sweaty. I'm slightly warm. I'm clammy. I need a drink.
Poor little. What is it? What is it today? Is it 25?
It's 19 degrees.
Oh, 19. Hold on.
Don't
19
forget, I'm
Celsius.
inside. I'm wrapped round a curtain. Oh, I've got a curtain wrapped around me for the sound. I'm next to my computer. I've got a light on. It's very.
Jessiie is 66 degrees where he's at.
Yeah, I know it is.
It's poor, miserable for him. No
I
air
know.
conditioner, no fan.
Right,
I
well,
feel
while you two argue about
genuinely-
this, I'm going to go fill my glass of water up. I'll be back in a minute.
Oh my goodness. I don't. I feel for the boy because they're just not used to it. They're not built for the heat, right?
No,
But it is.
No.
I'm dying. I don't have my aircon on. My poor kids are like stuck in these rooms so we can report this, and they're sweating. And I'm like,
God.
60. Wow.
Well, it's like Jen. Okay,
Proud
me
of
and
you.
Jen's moving over here. You know this, right?
Oh, she's gonna die.
We were talking the other day. She's like, it's a little warm here. And I was like, wow, what's the temperature over there? And it was like the same thing Foxy's experiencing. It was like 16. Like, yeah, it's a little warm here. It's 42 today. She's like, huh?
Yeah.
She's like, can I get, is that 42, you know, American? No, that's 42 in terms that you understand.
Yeah. Right now where I am, which is not as bad as you, I am sending you all of my thoughts and prayers right now. It is 35. So it's still hot. That's gross. But 40? Nope. No, thank you. You can, nope. Sorry.
Thankfully, though, our grids, and I don't say this in a bad way, are not so bad that we have to have rolling blackouts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. When we get those, I usually have to pack the kids up and like go to like a department store or something and just walk around for like an hour or two while it's that, because this house, we would be boiling alive. Like that's just, it's so bad when we have the blackouts.
I'm back.
Hi.
You know,
Back.
it's so warm. I don't think I drank that water. I think it evaporated. A whole pint of it.
Poor little thing.
I know. I feel so badly for you.
Yeah. I don't know how you'll ever endure.
Right. Okay. Right. Moving on now to
He's
the
going to listen to what
questions.
we were just talking about, and he's going to be like, I'm not putting that in.
I was back a long time before I said
okay.
I was letting you finish off talking about blackouts and all that sort of stuff. Right. Anyway, moving on to the questions. If you would like to leave us a question, then just stick it. Don't even put it on our Discord. Stick it on someone else's. We'll find it. It's absolutely fine. Don't bother writing one to our email address, which is news@theminecraftupdate.com. And whatever you do, absolutely do not fill in the question section of the feedback form that makes life really easy for us. Just go and put it on Silent Whispers. We'll find it. I don't, it'd be all right. What could go wrong? Anyway, the first question we got from somebody that used the email address is from Ethrit. And they said, and the reason I'm reading this is because I could find it easily. Hey guys, I'm Ethrit. It seems a pretty big news, so now I'm sure you've heard of it already, but apparently there is a Minecraft developer version for some marketplace creators which literally adds everything you could dream for on the topic of utility. It contains an insanely in-depth F3 menu, stable spectator mode, the ability to see the exact start and end of villages, something I feel would be insanely useful for iron farms, as well as the ability to actually pause the game. It may not be any of my business to really be talking about this, but I just wanted your guys' opinions of it. We have all been asking for utility stuff like this for a long time, but dismissed it, saying some of it might be too hard or just isn't possible, but yet there is a version with all of it and more. If it all works so well in this version, how is it so difficult to get spectator mode right in the game currently, among other things? Oh my God, I can't, what a coincidence that this question has come out at exactly the same time as our news on the Ant Venom video. I'm going to let you guys go first, but I think we should switch up now and we'll come at this from the other perspective as the Minecraft players that have been begging for these utility things for such a long time, and maybe consider why they would be a good thing to have to Bedrock Edition. That's what I'm going to do. You don't have to do that. Whatever.
I personally would love an F3 screen. I've said it multiple times. I'm invested, right? So knowing that one exists, even if it's not so great, sure, yeah, that's annoying. I can see where the community would come from, thinking that it's not fair, right? And I struggle to get that out, right? Like, it's not fair. Like, that's something I feel like as a child I said all the time. I feel like it's not fair is just a mentality that I struggle with. Because I think it's important to know that things happen for a reason. If it's not fair, yes, that sucks. but there is something we don't know, right? Like, I don't want to just sit and harp on everything that is wrong or feel like being wronged by Mojang. Yes, I'm annoyed that I can't just easily access things that Java can access. Yes, it's frustrating that the developers can use it, but I also know developers need to use it. So where I'm coming from with this whole situation, or what my genuine opinion is that it doesn't matter. I know people don't like to hear that, but it doesn't matter. When it is ready to be launched, we will get it. That is my opinion. When it is ready for normal gameplay, it will happen. And until then, I'm just going to go under the assumption that developers need it for a reason that is not just everyday gameplay, and I will be content with that knowledge.
Okay, Slack?
I'll take it if they give it to me. If they don't, I'm not going to complain. I mean, it's that simple. I don't want to be Mr. Negative on this and be like, they said you can't have it, so you can't have it. No, give it to us. I'll be happy. Don't. I'll be happy. I'm fine. I'm either way in this.
Yeah, fair enough. Playing on the Java edition again with doing my hardcore series on Twitch with Mitts. I hate the F3 screen now. I understand if you've been playing Java a long time that it's a habit to get into to use. But when I put it on screen, I just find it thoroughly irritating. I know it's got useful information in there, and I know if I was doing something farm-related or creative-related, it would probably come in quite useful. But I'm so glad that Bedrock Edition has the coordinates on screen. They don't have that on Java Edition. You don't hear anyone on Java Edition moaning that they don't have the coordinates in the top left of the screen. I think it's very much they've got it, I want it. But this is like anything else. Like Slack said earlier about cars. If Slack's got let's say Slack's got a Bentley and I've got a broken down old banger, I'm not going to complain that mine doesn't have an amazing sound system in it or the engine that Slack's got. Because if I want one of those, I'm going to have to buy that. Oh, but you can't afford that. Well, then that's tough, isn't it? That's life. If you want these things, that exists in Java Edition. Go play Java Edition.
Thank you. Thank you. That's
so.
Yep.
But I can't afford it. I don't have a PC. There's loads of excuses. I get it. There is loads of excuses. And yes, it would be nice if they came to Bedrock. And yes, some of these features already exist in the developer edition. But one thing I'm gonna talk about is the fact that you've put stable spectator mode already exists. And I can tell you with first-hand experience that it doesn't. There is no stable spectator mode in the developer mode. Yes, you can enable flight, and yes, you can cut through blocks, but it doesn't stop you interacting with things. It doesn't hide you from other players. It doesn't turn you invisible. It doesn't turn you semi-invisible. It doesn't stop you stealing items out of other players' inventories or breaking blocks or any of the other things that spectator mode does, which is what they've been working on. The spectator mode has been as a secret game mode in actual Bedrock Edition that we could all access through modifying game files for years. So that's already been in the game. They've not hidden, well, I guess it's hidden in the game code and you needed to change the mode manually, but that's fine. It's all of these other things that go with it to make it suitable for things like multiplayer servers and survival so that the spectator does what the spectator should do without being able to interfere with it. Again, the one on the developer mode, it's not going to stop projectiles going through it. If you stand in the way of someone that's swinging an axe, then you're going to, get hit with that axe. So, yeah, saying there's a stable spectator mode in it, you've seen someone say it or you've seen a video on it and just made an assumption there without actually knowing anything about it and then getting all upset that the developers aren't doing a good enough job. And I think comments like this, you need to take a step back and stop being so angry at everybody and remember there's a reason. There is a reason. I don't know what the reason is, genuinely, even though I'm a marketplace creator and I have access to these things. I have no idea what the reason is, but there will be one. They're not just a bunch of meanies going, you can't have it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure right now there's things in the game that would show you like all levels of details, like exactly how big a village is, where all the points of interest are, the identified numbers of which point goes with this, what goes with that. That makes it clear as day. Do we have access to it? No. Does it exist? I would be willing to bet it does, but we don't need it to play the game.
No. And like I mentioned briefly earlier, stability is a big thing when they're adding stuff to the public versions of it. These developer editions are not very reliable. It's very obvious that they're not very reliable. They're an absolute pain to install. They crash very regularly. So I think that would be another thing that would be a massive consideration to them, is like, if we're going to put this in the game, we need to make sure it's not going to just crash everyone's games. Otherwise, we're going to get, like, people will be complaining all the time.
You're selling me more on not doing that, because now they need to dedicate a team to making sure that their version is more pristine before they can even make our version more pristine. No, they're already stretched thin enough. No,
exactly. The development it's been absolutely motoring on Bedrock Edition recently. It's ridiculous how much time and effort they're putting into the back end of things, bringing stuff over from Java, parity, spectator mode. Stop complaining that it's not. I'm not saying you are, Etherit. I'm using this as an example. But yeah, people need to stop complaining it's not there now and just be a little more patient. Realize that things are going in a good direction and just hope for the best.
Then again, some people absolutely do not have patience. My appointment was at noon. It's 12:01. Where are they at? Just chill.
Jessiie, quick,
chill.
Save us from this. What's Cinnabon got to say?
Cinnabald says, hello, Slack, Jessiie, and Foxy. I discovered that multiplayer settings on my single-player PlayStation world were set to friends of friends. By having a complete stranger wearing a Herobrine skin connect and troll me, they had a private profile, so I couldn't even see whose friend it was supposed to be. Is this the default setting on Bedrock? Has it always been like this? It was made worse by the fact that the connection message was mostly obscured by a chest interface, so I didn't even see it until I reviewed the footage. Thanks for the awesome podcast. Okay. Yes, that's the default mode. It is insanely frustrating because it is so easy to forget to change it. And I have done that way too many times and had the same thing happen where somebody comes in and all of a sudden is just there and I'm like, what? Especially because I have patrons. I have people who I have to friend in order to let them onto my realms and stuff. So I have had friends of friends come on and I'm like, I don't know you. I don't know what's going on. It is the most frustrating thing. I hate it so much.
It is. I really don't understand why this is the default thing. I play on realms with family and stuff like that, and my nephew and I were playing on a realm, which meant that I had to add him as a friend so that he could join the realm. And then if I forget to open or to change it to like invite only, it's not him. I get all of his friends in the world that I'm in, and I'm like, why is that a thing? Why? I don't know any of those. I've never added them. Why? Why is that even an option? Get rid of it, or at least just make the default one. If you've got to have it open to friends, just have it on like people you've chosen to be your friend, not total random strangers. It's so weird. Jeez.
I remember when we used to do testing and we would jump into a world and it's like, I can't accept invites. So Foxy had to make the world open.
Yeah.
No way around it.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Like he'd intentionally have to name the world join and be banned.
Yeah, that's what we used to do.
Join.
When we were doing off camera, well, not off camera, on world download stuff on Truly Bedrock, I would have to change the name of the world download to do not join, because on Windows 10 back then, or even now to a certain degree, you can't get an invitation sometimes because it uses the game bar thing. So you have to open it to friends, and then you just get like, because I had a patron realm back then, which meant I had loads of people like as a friend on Xbox to get them in the realm. Sorry to my patrons and my VIPs, but I've deleted nearly all of them now because I don't want people to see that I'm in it. First of all, I don't want them to see that I'm playing a game because I like that to be private. I don't want them to see what the world's called in case I'm doing something private or storyline related or something for something I'm not ready to share with people yet. I certainly don't want them just joining randomly and affecting the world. Like if I'm over somewhere else and they've turned up at spawn, they could do anything. So it doesn't even put them in visitor mode. It puts them in like full survival. Jeez, fix it.
Yeah, just give them some armor and stuff and they'll be good to go. They can start helping you. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Oh, man. Fix it. Anyway, JW5, Slack.
JW5. JW5 says, what is the best way to get experience early game? You have mentioned Guardian Farms are a good way to get experience in the later game, but how would you try to get experience in the early game? I would build a day one Guardian Farm, but that's me.
That's not really early game.
Yeah, it is. I've got a day one Guardian Farm tutorial.
Okay.
So I would literally build a day one Guardian Farm, but that's me. Yeah, I'll let y'all go.
What would you do, Jess?
I'm simple. I go straight to spawners. I just make a quick and dirty spawner farm, get the experience, level up, so then I can head out and do something a little bit easier. But yeah, that's just my go-to.
Yeah, and you can get a good 30 levels just mining redstone and coal. And obviously, if you're doing that early game, you're going to be getting diamonds and things like that as well, which is good. Or go and find a spawner, or just go to a village, steal all of their hay bales and sell it back to the villagers. I'm sure, can you sell hay to villagers?
I think so.
Yeah, a farmer you can.
Yeah. So there's plenty of stuff at the villages you can actually sell back to them and get experience from that, and you get a surprising amount of experience from that. So
I mean, before that, I would go quartz mining way back in the day.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was the very quick and easy.
Yeah,
when the nether wasn't so deadly.
That's the thing. If you mention
so
nether
nice.
to anyone, don't have a lava farm, just get it from the nether. No, I don't want to go to the nether. Okay, well, don't have any lava then. No, just farm it. All right, do what you want. Esifer says, keeping this one short and sweet. Alley duplication via amethyst is silly. I get it's musical, but they could do so much better. Why not have alleys spawn in ancient cities? But really, it seems perfect. They fly, so they wouldn't trigger the warden. They love music, which the warden hates sound. They're blue, the colour of souls. Illagers have captured them, and illagers like dark oak and basic redstone. Sound familiar? Last but not least, you have a good reason to go to the ancient cities more than once. Thanks again, Esifer. I suppose blue is the colour of souls, because when you run over soul sand, you get that little blue particle, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
I guess so, but then it wouldn't be cute and blue, would it? It'd be like a weird skulky blob thing, which I guess wouldn't make much difference, would it? But you wouldn't imagine it would be friendly. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. What do you guys think?
Well, I think if an ancient city had been taken over by all the nastiness, that no, it wouldn't be friendly at that point. So
maybe if you have to rescue from the ancient cities, they were trapped like the pillager ones.
You have to cure them like a zombie.
Yeah, well, not necessarily that. Just they're in cages down in the ancient cities.
Yeah.
Like, they're underneath the portal thing rather than all that stupid redstone.
See, that would be brilliant if like the little weird portal blocks that are in a portal underneath that had allays. Because they're all surrounded by the blue flames everywhere anyway. So that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would work. Yeah. Good. Right, put that in the maybe ideas pile. We'll think about that. I'll have a word with Mojang.
With Mojang, yeah. Alex Mackey says...
Fired.
What?
Go ahead. No.
Did I say it wrong?
No.
Slack's just read it ahead of you.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Since Slack loved my idea of more ambient mobs, I was wondering about what you would think of something like moles that just burrow away if you destroyed the block they were in. Kind of like silverfish, but unlike silverfish, they would burrow away into a different block instead of attacking you. P.S. Thanks for reading my comment on episode 24. I think that idea is awful. I am so sorry. I want to be supportive. I want to support those dreams. That is awful. I
don't want
do
moles.
Not like that. No. Why? Why do I want some random mob anytime I dig to just keep moving and digging down? Like, what is the point?
Here's the best thing ever. Your riverbed that you're making, Foxy. What if you had a mole there and suddenly you were terraforming and you hit a block of dirt and they went and dug out this way and your water now started flowing this way and everything and washed down on your redstone.
Oh, man. I just have flashbacks to my dad spent years of his life and thousands of his pounds fighting moles in the garden. We had electric rods in there that were supposed to vibrate the ground to scare him off. We had traps and all sorts of stuff. I don't agree with any of that sort of stuff, but yeah, he spent his life doing that, and I just think I don't want to have little mole pop in his. I think it would be cute just to see the odd mole just pop up and then bury away again. But I don't. I want that to just be a visual thing. It's not like I hate silverfish. I don't want silverfish moles.
No.
Just seeing a mole pop up while you're building out of some dirt or something and just like sniff and then go back in. That would be cool. I'm happy with that. But I don't want, no. Doesn't want to change the block or break the block or anything like that. Jeez. Oh, man.
Wow, you two were rougher on it than me on this one. Yeah. Just remember, Alex, they were the ones that said no this time. I'm like, it'd be fun. Have fun with it.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
Make it biome specific. Put it in the tundra, and I'll be fine with it.
Put it in a snow biome.
Yeah. Snow moles. That's what it is. Snow moles.
Snow moles. Oh, jeez. I love it. Snow moles
like,
coming to Minecraft near you. My next add-on stream. That's what we're making. Snow moles. Right. It's like 09 Pac-Man again. You got him again.
Okay. I think you got me and Pat-Man as a good group over here. I'm just saying.
Because they write short
if you could
messages.
I know, right? Pat-Man, you're my friend. I'm just saying. If you could remove and add one thing to the wild update, you have to do both. What would it be?
Ooh, okay. So you have to sacrifice one thing in order to get something else. Is that?
Can you add one thing and then take it away again?
I think I want a new treat. No, never mind. I don't. I'm good.
Yeah,
thanks.
I want moles, but then I don't want them.
Yeah. Snow moles.
Anyone have anything that just like pops in your brain?
No, I haven't experienced all the update yet, so I don't know.
I don't know what I'd remove. I've no idea. Go on, Jess. You got like the redstone underneath this stupid portal.
Yeah.
I'd get rid of that. Yeah.
The frame not working. Can we make it be useful?
Yeah, and I would add an ability to light the frame and go through it to the dimension.
Yeah.
There you go. That's my answer.
Right
there. I think I would remove the roots. Honestly, if I'm being real honest, they're my least favorite thing in the entire update. They are useless. I don't like how they look. It's just, I'm not a fan. I would add, I would add
a real root that looks good and functions, not this.
No, see, I would add a new flower type. I want another like pretty thing in those swamps. Like just take away the roots, add some sort of swamp flower.
You don't want to add fireflies?
No, I do not.
Jeez, Slack, go on. What you got? What you adding and what you removing?
Can we just remove the swamp boats? Or the boat, chest boat, whatever. That seems so pointless.
I like the chest boats.
Okay, give up your elytra and you go back to your horse and your boat, okay?
Hey, on the hardcore world we're on, we've not been to the end yet. That chest boat's coming really useful, moving house.
I think they would be more useful if you could open them from outside of the boat. That's what irritates me.
Just shift clip.
What? I tried and it didn't. So
that was on
basically
Java.
Jessie's just dumb.
I've not tried it on Bedrock.
I'm gonna try it on Bedrock.
I'll watch that be a parody difference.
Frustrating.
There was something else I was thinking. Oh yeah, the roots. The other thing I would add, if I'm not allowed a portal dimension, is what I thought we were getting when they first showed the picture of the mangrove roots. I thought the roots, the mud roots, the mud combined with the roots. I thought that was root carpet, so like a sawdusty type looking block. Yeah. I want that, so I'd add
like
that
a vine.
Yeah, so I can have nice path.
Yeah, I'm sold on that. Rooty vines. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, right. Next, we've got Aiden Shin saying, "Hey, Foxy, Slack, and Jesse, it's Aiden. This is my question. If you can make a new dimension, what would it be? What would it be called? What would be in there? And what would be the reason to go there? How would you go there? For such a long question, I'll think about something about me next time. I would add a flat world dimension that allowed me to go in. When I'm in there, I'm in creative mode. I can access all of my stuff and build stuff, and then I can just pop back through the portal. I get all my normal equipment and things back. So I don't have to keep going in and out of my test world. It would be called Foxy's Playground. And I would go there through the ancient city portal. Slag, what about you?
As far as what a new dimension would be, I'd have no clue. But if I had to choose something that it was related to, let it be related to the inventory. Once we go there, we do stuff, we learn stuff, we come back with double the inventory size or something.
Oh, okay. So you're going there to gain experience and come back a better person. What would it be called? Inventory Land.
Yeah, exactly. Chestland. Yeah. Chestland.
How would you go there?
Chestlandia.
In a chest boat.
A chest boat full of shulkers. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You got to row that through the portal
with a llama in your boat with you.
Yep. Pulling a donkey. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Good. Jessie, what?
So 2 things. One, update on the chest boat situation. I'm just dumb. It absolutely, you just shift and enter it. So yeah, I'm not smart. But for a new dimension, I don't know how practical or whatever it is, but I really, really like the I don't know if any of you, when we played Sky Factory,
Skyblock
went
Dimension,
into when we were in the
Void Dimension.
No, what was it called? The Twilight Forest.
Oh,
Is that
yeah.
what it was called?
Yeah.
I've always really liked that. Like, different areas had different, like, dungeony bosses, and that was really cool to me. So I would love if we got that kind of dimension, something where there were just a bunch of different areas where you can defeat bosses and get like little trophies. That was so cool. So something like that I would really like.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'd like that. Yeah. Sign me up. I'm into it.
Yep.
Right. Jessie, we've got Zeta with the last question.
Zeta says, Jessie, you said in the last podcast the only thing you liked about the new update was the mangrove wood. Is this why you let Tiz kidnap your stream day tadpole? He's just not a feature you really like. Okay.
Poor Carmen.
You want to give us some context on that, Jessie, for people that don't know what they're talking about?
Okay, so the weird thing here is I don't really know what they're talking about. So on stream day, was playing with frogs. I retract my statement that the only thing I like is the mangrove wood because frogs are really cute and they were a lot of fun. So I like those 2 now. So in the stream day box, I put in a tadpole. I just named it Spawn of Curtin. Wow. Spawn of Kermit.
Curtin the frog.
And then I went about my day because I had a long weekend. So I actually didn't get to stay and watch many streams. So I come back and all of a sudden everything is blown up. I have DMs. I have messages in Discord, like in my actual Discord channel.
Where all of our podcast feedback is probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. And I even had like a message on Twitter saying that there was an incident with my frog and I had to blame Tiz. And I was like, okay, what? And so I was like, what's going on? I tune in to one of his streams the next day and he was like, nothing happened, Jessie, it's fine. And I was like, okay, see, now I know something happened. I still don't know what. No one has told me what has happened. I just know that something with my tadpole and I'm supposed to get vengeance, but I still don't know what happened. And they're like, oh, well, he ransomed it. And I was like, it's only a ransom if somebody tells you they want something for it. So I was like, I as far as I know, the tadpole is fine in the stream day box. So I don't know.
If it's in the stream day box, you gave it up anyway. So
right?
What? Okay. People really do take things to some limits, don't they? Jeez. Well, this is a good opportunity for you to get back at Tiz for taking something you gave away. There you go. Appreciate it. Amazing. Oh, man. Jeez. Well, peeps, unfortunately, that signifies the end of today's questions. If you would like to leave us a question, then please, whatever you do not, I repeat, do not email us at news@theminecraftupdate.com. I'm not going to read it. Don't send anything on the feedback form. Don't do it. It really irritate me if you make it really easy for me to find the questions next week. Just write it on Reddit. We will go through all of the Reddits. Doesn't matter what subreddit, any you like, I'll find it. And we'll get them all from there next week. That'll be amazing. Thank you so much. Right. Now, it's time for the socials. Jessie, what are you going to be up to this week?
This week, I am streaming. I should be streaming Friday, which is the day the podcast goes out, right?
Yes,
maybe
tomorrow.
Yes. So, going to be streaming Friday. I will likely stream this weekend, and I will have a video out on Monday. It's already edited, even. So,
whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Slack?
Still back on my normal routine of videos every Friday, extras on Tuesdays. Getting ahead on content. Streaming has returned to a normal schedule of 4 o'clock EST, except on all days except for Wednesday and Thursday of each week.
Nice. And I'm going to be wasting my life trying to make a cloning tool for Minecraft Bedrock Edition that probably inevitably isn't going to work. Aside from that, I'm going to be streaming on Tuesdays with Mitz doing the Hardcore Java Edition series. I'm going to try and do other stuff as well. Keep your eyes peeled. I'm doing my best. I'm getting there. Jeez. And on that note, speaking of getting there, we finally got to the end. So as I always say, see you later, world people. It's been a good one.
Nobody says.
How was that? Was that a good sign off this week?
I don't recall ever hearing that. It was
That's
beautiful.
how the cookie crumbles.
I love your faces. Bye.
Yeah. Oh, geez. It's time to do the off. I've left my sausages on the barbecue.
Good talk. Yeah, good talk.
Yeah. I'm so done with you.
See you later, peeps. Goodbye.